आपने उन प्रोडक्ट्स को प्रमोट किया, वो महापाप है, वो क्षमा योग्य नहीं है। एंड नाउ वी विल हैव टू लुक एट द होल कॉन्टेक्स्ट कि आज का जो हमारा जो सेशन है विच इज़ ऑन मिथ्स, विच इज़ ऑन गेनिंग क्लैरिटी ऑन दिस। तो सबसे पहले मैं शुरू करूंगा हमारी मिस अदिति गोयल, बैकग्राउंड एजुकेशन, academics. And you know what is happening today, she has been dealing, as I understand, she's from university, she has been dealing with students, kids, and communication is playing an important role. So my first question to her is that as an educationist, how do you see the myths being, बहुत myths हैं, हर चीज़ myths के format में आ रही है, being created to lure young generation in particular against milk. आपको कैसा लगता है एज एन एजुकेशनिस्ट? और क्योंकि हमें 45 मिनट्स में ख़त्म करना है, तो हम 2-2, 3-3 मिनट के सबके 2-2, 3-3 राउंड करेंगे, प्लीज़।
Firstly, I would like to thank the Indian Dairy Association for this opportunity. It's a privilege to be among such people over here. As far as the information and the negativity in adolescence against milk is concerned, I think the main culprit, like you said, sir, it's social media. The aggressive marketing strategies and the advertisements that we see for all the milk substitutes, they are calling, that is the problem. That is what is leading the youngsters more and more away from milk. So I have done a survey with youngsters and also with general consumers, where one of my questions was, do you think milk is replaceable? And I got a majority of the people who just didn't consider milk to be important in the diet. They don't think it's a necessity, and they do think that it's easily replaceable by vegan milks, the plant-based substitutes. They don't think that there is any problem of availability of the nutrient content in milk, which we have been speaking about since morning. Everybody detailed how the calcium, riboflavin, tryptophan content, all the things which we get from milk, they cannot be received from these milk substitutes, which the younger generation, I don't think they're looking into it. My peers, my age mates, they are all slowly moving towards these substitutes. Also because they're only thinking about the animal cruelty part. Again, that was also discussed in the earlier sessions before lunch, that all the focus has not remained on the nutritional composition of milk, the role it plays as a food substance in our diet. It has more and more started shifting towards the source that milk is coming from. So when the only focus remains on what happens inside the cow sheds and how the cows are being treated and how, you know, now they're using the machines and it's painful, and all those factors have started to govern the decision-making process. And I think the only way to improve is going to be through awareness.
Thank you very much. And I think, I was amazed to see a case. I was talking to a pediatrician and about, we were discussing something about the complementary foods regulation in FSSAI on infant foods, particularly wherever, you know, the supplementary foods is to be given alongside, like only 2 products are being mentioned in that. One is curd, another one is ghee, you know, from 6 months onwards, you can make some food out of it. And she was saying that, interestingly, today's mothers are so much overwhelmed by those Insta influencer or Insta mothers. And she was really, it was such a surprise for her that couple of them are not mothers at all. And they are guiding the mothers, and mothers are following them. Means, now, at least to this particular group of students, I'm not saying that please don't listen to what's being coming to you in WhatsApp. But create your own filter, create your own cognitive filter also. Question it, question the conventional wisdom, question whatever is coming your way. And in that, you know, the things which are coming like milk is not safe. Now, this is something, you know, which really disturbs at times. I was lucky enough to be behind milk adulteration survey in India 2016 and 2018. We saw the quality of milk cutting across the nation. as far as adulterants were concerned, the situation was not that grim. But yes, on contaminants, yes, there were certain challenges. But still, sir, now with your vast experience, Dr. Sitaram Dikshit, and particularly in research and the level of granularity which you have achieved, I've gone through your, that was such a long thing, sir. I thought that maybe 45 minutes will be required to cover all the 3 resumes, so I'm just skipping it. With your kind of experience, how do you look at milk first? Second, that on its safety part, with your kind of research and understanding, are there some ways where actually consumer can also identify about the purity or safety of milk as such? Please.
Good evening, all of you. And thanks to especially Dr. Parekh for inviting me here in the panel. His question was, how can you identify as a consumer? See, we saw good things about milk. What are the benefits of milk? But all these things is possible only if the milk that you drink is pure. If it is not pure, then all these things, whatever the goodness of milk, you are not going to achieve. So now as a consumer, from where can you get good quality milk? The easiest and the best way is to get from a right source. Now when you say right source, I am not asking you everybody to get a cow and then milk it yourself. I am not saying that. But what I am saying is, you try to get milk from a place where you have a traceability. For example, supposing you are getting a branded milk. Get the branded milk from a place where you can go again and buy it. What we have found, right from 2006 onwards till 2024, this is almost 20-25 years, we have been doing regular analysis of milk in Mumbai and in and around Mumbai. And we found approximately 30% of the milk was adulterated. Now you'll be surprised how 30% of milk is adulterated. Most of this milk which are coming, adulterated milk, are from places which has been purchased not from a proper source. That means, supposing you buy milk from a roadside vendor, the milk is actually delivered at night between 12 to 2. So from 2 to 6, during this period, there are a lot of middlemen who actually adulterate milk, which even the brand does not know it. So in such a situation, it is imperative on the consumer from your perspective. You can't blame the government because policies are there, Food Safety Standards Act is available. The industry which is selling the milk doesn't want to sell adulterated milk because it is a brand. To create a brand is not a easy thing. So it will not deliberately himself do it. But there are people, let us understand, see, you have rotten eggs everywhere. So you can't prevent that. So what is the best way as a consumer? You should see to it you purchase from a right source. That's number one. Number two, when you purchase it, there are 2 or 3 easy things. Even when you purchase from a good shop, very easy things, it is the packets which are normally now you get it in packets. The packets you should actually see it as a consumer. So whenever you see a packet, there should be a cushioned feel, which is very easy for you to find out. Catch the packet in a hand. Suppose this is a milk packet. Keep it in your hand like this. You will find these 4 joints pointing towards 4 directions. If it is adulterated, it will never happen. You will always find one of them pointing in a different direction. It is as simple as that, which any consumer can find out. You don't need to be a scientist, a food technologist to do that. It is as simple as that. Similarly, see the serrations which is there on the 2 ends. There should always be a zigzag serrations. Even if there is a slight element where there is a straight serration, it is better to avoid that packet. Most of the adulteration that take place who gives that ghar paunch, who gives delivery in your house. I am not saying, oh, uske peet mein laat marna nahi chahta hu main. Lekin, if you are not confident about the person who is delivering milk at your house, it is better you go outside and buy it from a shop rather than from somebody who is delivering it. It is easy for you to get it delivered. But unless and until you are sure of the person who is delivering it, it is better to avoid it. So this is the easiest way. There are other methods. We have got testing methods are available, which you can actually do a qualitative analysis to find out. But those are things not easy for a consumer point of view.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. And I think he's absolutely right. The kind of insights which he has given, I think they are so practical that anybody can do it at home. And you know, after doing dairy technology, I came to know that there are two kind of persons on this earth. One are dairy technologists, another one is married dairy technologist. So after marriage, you know, the whole thing changed because wherever I was going, everyone was asking, so which milk to take? So which ghee to be taken? So which brand is good and how to test milk? And all the time, you know, I was busy telling them. And later on, you know, and those questions are still coming up. But now let's come to another serious issue, which is about milk is cruel. And who would know it better than, you know, Mr. Yachneet Pushkarna, who is with ISKCON and with Haribol. And my first question to you, sir, is, and we would like to know more from you also very quickly later. But first thing is, if you can share and tell us something about this ahimsa milk or ethical dairying, what you call it as.
Sure. First of all, I would like to thank the association to have me over. Sorry I was late. I was actually at, it was funny, ET Now people had called me. We were there. They had covered us a couple of days back on Janmashtami. And the minute I got in, everybody started asking, yaar jara apna app ka wo de do, milk order karna hai. So it was very interesting. You know, I mean, I think being here and amongst all you gurus and gurus in the making, my half bachelor's of dairy technology is done. I come from a very different background. Before I get into, you know, what is ethical and ahimsa milk, you know, it is very interesting to know, you know, all your opinion on milk and the pros and cons and vegan, and you spoke a lot about veganism. Veganism is becoming a very big thing in the US. I spent a lot of time there. And they are like really, really going against it. Part of it is cruelty against animals. And I think today the most critical thing which we need to focus on is what happens after to the cows once the milking process has finished. So as you all know, I mean, you all are statistical gurus with numbers. We are the world's largest exporters of meat. You call it buffalo meat, but actually it is beef. And it is a known fact. And UP was the largest state doing that. And as you know, UP is the white bowl of our country. I actually was fortunate because I wanted to do something for society. I quit when I was in the US, came back to India. I worked for 1 year in All India Institute of Medical Sciences in the Department of Geriatrics. Somebody was talking about gerontology in a section before. And there's a very dear friend of mine. He was treating a lot of senior leaders in the current cabinet, their mothers and their fathers. And every time I used to go to their house, the first question he used to ask is, "Doodh piya aapne?" That was the first question he used to ask. "Aapne ek glass doodh piya?" To kehta yaar, doodh kaun peeta hai? So it was a very interesting incident. I was sitting there, and one of their grand daughters was expecting. So she said, and she had basically done her master's in the US, and you know, she was talking about you don't need milk, this, that. So he kept listening, and after 15 minutes he said, "Aapne 3-4 bale घास की तैयार कर ली?" So she said, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Once you deliver, वो घास ही तो खाएगा बच्चा, दूध तो आप दोगे नहीं." So it was actually, she was really shocked, you know, and then he explained to her, don't get after this Instagram, TikTok. TikTok is banned in this country, but TikTok marketing, as you say, it is actually just brainwashing you, you know. And everybody, even if you see in any conference, they are just sitting down and watching TikTok videos and Insta videos, rather than listening to people who are giving, you know, their valuable time and energy. But of course, I'll get to the topic of ahimsa and ethical milking. See, for us as an institution, and you know, there is someone amongst us who is most qualified to talk about how Krishna in the entire Bhagavatam has emphasized on cow as a mother and milk as the most, because we all here have taken milk, some form of the other, even if someone is lactose intolerant or whatever. All those things have happened because of adulteration. You all are gurus, you all know that. You know, when I came in ISKCON, the first thing I did, I have no background of milk. I was in corporate, worked with Reliance. I was in pharma in Paris. So when I came, they said, you know, this is a project, you have to run this project. I said, okay. I wanted to understand what's the ethos. I said, what do you want to do? Do you want to be a milk dairy? He said, no, our purpose is to save the cows. That's it. The byproduct is the milk. And through that, we can prove that rural people, those who are starving, and dairies who are minting money on them, should get the money. So I said, okay, now I understand. So you are just wanting to be the vessel which will make sure that the milk is delivered. It should be pure. And for people, those who are concerned about the nature and well-being of the mother, which is written in the Bhagavatam, she is the fifth mother. That is what you are ready to. So then I am ready to get into this project. Otherwise, I am already getting like a lot of money from other FMCGs. I'd rather go and work there. So that is the journey how it started. And one thing I realized was, I went to one of your distinguished NDRIs. One of my uncle was additional chief secretary in Haryana. He said, if you really want to understand this, go to NDRI. And so I went and saw the kind of technologies you guys are doing. It's phenomenal, mind-blowing. And I went and asked them, I said, if this same thing you would have been in the US, it would have been a different thing. It's like, yaar, yanko puchta kaun hai? People just want to keep doing it and padi and researches. But the most phenomenal thing was human behavior, you know. A lot of people here mentioned that lifestyle is a very important thing. Today, 75% of our diseases can go away if we do lifestyle modification. Nobody does it. That is why I thought, after listening all this, that we need to first get into a campaign where people should know what is milk. Where are you getting that milk from? Know the source, know the mother. Then only you will be able to take care. Then only you will solve the problems of environmentalism, food wastage, so on and so forth. So you know your milk. The Ahimsa milk started from there. So we went to Gujarat in Paliad. I mean, I know we are very short on time. It's a long story and I can really, go on the granular level. But of course, I just to quickly go through it and then as we go, we will discuss more about it. We have adopted a village in Gujarat. We have tried to create a proof of concept where we are empowering the farmers there to take care of the cows post also their milking period. And that milk, which is Ahimsa, is been delivered to Mumbai and Pune, and then we can discuss about it later.
I think very nice deliberation, except for Yashneet Saab bole ki there was lot of adulteration of milk and you all are gurus and you know about it. So वहाँ पे मैं घबरा गया because our gurus are also sitting over here and they always taught us, Dr. Ajoria in particular. So he was my teacher also. He is my teacher today also. So yes, adulteration is a big issue, and I think this particular thing, in a country where cow is the most sacred animal, cow is very close to the heart of the government. Cow you cannot slaughter. Cow you have to keep with yourself as your family members. 80% of milk is coming from those small and marginal farmers who have got 2, 3, 4 cows at home, like family members with the name also. How can you, if someone says that India has got this concept of cow cruelty, how can we actually, I would like that you people, some of you might be hailing from villages also, but you please go visit and just see what's happening around there. So coming back, now for these students, when something is thrown to them, particularly about anything, they accept it. So we started to think on the lines of that there has to be, like from food safety also, FSSAI started to work in this area, that why food safety should not be part of curriculum. Why, that DART book which FSSAI has created, why it should not be distributed at the school level so that students should learn about it. So in this nutrition literacy, how do you look at this possibility of creating some food literacy and within the curriculum and taking it right from the beginning, so that nobody can at least fool us on that milk is this or milk is that. So how do you look at it, and are there some initiatives being there in your college or the institution you belong to? Yeah, please.
So yeah, I definitely believe that to some extent food literacy can improve the attitude that has come up towards milk. Again, I'll cite an example from my own survey, which I have conducted myself. More than 250 people surveyed, and when I asked them why they are not consuming milk, they gave all these varied reasons that have been spoken about. No, milk is adulterated, the cows are being injected with hormones, wo hormone doodh mein aa jayega, hum kaise pee sakte hain, all those reasons. And then I asked them the source of information. 40%, almost 40% of my sample, the people that I surveyed, were relying on internet blogs for their information. 15% was relying on social media. And another 5% was relying on friends and family. Very small chunk of people who are actually going ahead and reading up more, like you said, question whatever is being given to you. So yes, at the school level, at the college level, if there is introduction of some basic nutrition facts, some of the important food sources, the basic macro and micronutrient information and the important sources, if they are discussed, then I think definitely the attitude will change because today everyone has spoken a lot about calcium and its bioavailability. That was one of the questions that I have also asked in my survey that, you know, if you can replace milk with other things, where are you going to get this from? And I was given the example of things like sesame seeds. I was given the example of things like ragi, where the fiber content is going to compete and is going to cause a problem with bioavailability of calcium. And also, how much sesame can you eat? The proportion of inclusion of sesame and ragi in the diet in comparison to how much milk can be consumed safely, that is also dramatically different. So more and more awareness of these small issues which can change the attitude, that is very important.
Absolutely, and I think you have done a wonderful survey, and if possible, please share it with Dr. Parekh and Dr. Prajapati also. Let us go through that. It's a wonderful finding. Because, you know, most of the time what happens that in our curriculum, whatever we are studying with only one objective. And what is that? To pass the exam. So we know, if suppose the question comes, what's the glycemic index of milk? We will say 46, okay, so we'll get full marks. What is the glycemic index of, let's say, almond milk being sold in the market? We will say 100. But now what difference is it making? At 46 or at 100, you know, what difference is it making? That particular part needs to come as a part of the practical curriculum, you know. And like you are talking about now when we say millet, now everyone is talking about millet, you know. Millet has become a national food, superfood that way. On the contrary, there must be some limitation for any food, you know, any food whatsoever you have, it should have some limitation. So somebody was telling me from corporate perspective that while developing a product, they say that in a particular product, it was a chocolate product, chocolate snack, they replaced everything with millet. Means that whatever the cereal part of it was being replaced with millet. But they didn't claim it. The beauty of NPD was they matched the taste of that product, but they didn't claim it is millet. Because the moment they claim it is millet, then we will, our perceptual kind of, you know, that those, whatever our perception is towards millet, it will come in between me and the product, me and the health. And I think over there in curriculum, these things also needs to be opened up with the students. So coming back, sir, so since morning we are talking about milk, nutrition, biota and all those kind of things, and superb understanding. But milk is also known for, in value, while you are looking for value addition, milk is also known in another category of product, which is cosmetics, giving beauty. We have heard association of milk with Cleopatra and all those kind of things. So I would like to know from you, sir, what is the relationship of milk or role of milk in cosmetic product or, and the, you know, creating the beauty part, how it is controlling that.
Okay. As Mr. Sharma said, Cleopatra, supposed to be a queen from the Egyptian origins, she used to take bath in camel milk, saying that it smoothens her skin and makes it beautiful. Now, this is anecdotal. The same is the case with all the advertisements that you see. Frankly speaking, milk as a cosmetic is suitable only when you take milk as it is in the raw form and wash your face. If you do that on a regular basis, anecdotally it is said that it lightens your skin and removes marks. Again, I am again saying anecdotal. There is no clinical study at all. There is nothing to prove that it is going to reduce you will become fair and lovely. It's not going to happen. But you can imagine, because Cleopatra did it, probably I can also do it. Now you can see, recently if you see, there are some shampoos available which says that it contains milk. Now if you see technical point of view, everybody knows nails and hair are dead tissues. And if you see the ad, they will show that the milk actually goes inside your hair shafts, improves your hair, and removes what you will get, split ends. It will remove. How it is going to do all that? It's going to do nothing. These are all marketing claims which actually does nothing, because whatever you do, even hair oil is applied outside. It is only external. It doesn't enter the follicles and do that. If you want to get the benefit of milk, please drink milk. That will help you grow your hair rather than applying milk outside. So that is a better way. Rather than doing, you will find all that lot of vegetables are used, lot of fruits are used. All these are bogus. I can tell you openly bogus. And I'm telling you because I worked in Hindustan Liver. I worked for 10 years in livers. So I know how things works. So it is not true. The second part, is milk good? Yes, it is good, as I told you, but better is the dahi or the yogurt, because yogurt contains lactic acid. Now lactic acid is actually exfoliant. That means it removes the dead cells. That's why even in olden times, you have this haldi, chandan and ghee ka lep lagao, wait for 15 minutes and remove it. It is this lactic acid which is contained in very small proportions without harming your skin. It can remove the dead skin and you feel that you are getting little fairer. You are actually not becoming fairer. What is happening is you are just removing the dead skin which is there on your face. So you come back to your natural skin type. That's all. Nothing more than that. That's one. Number two, people who are having acne spots are not supposed to use this method, because the oil which is present can actually harm you. So if persons who are having acne, don't try to remove acne by using either yogurt or milk. It's not possible. But if you don't have an acne, you can definitely use it. There is no problem. But don't expect wonders. Nothing is going to happen. You are going to remain as you were earlier.
थैंक यू सर. ये तो बहुत आज बहुत राज खुल रहे हैं. Incidentally, as sir is saying, so today I came to know that it was camel milk which was being used by Cleopatra. अदरवाइज कुछ डोंकी मिल्क बेचने वालों ने 6,000 रुपये लीटर दूध बेच दिया ये कह के कि क्लियोपेट्रा डोंकी मिल्क यूज़ करती थी. ओके, सो इट्स अप टू देम. बट इज एब्सोल्युटली राइट. एज फार एज दही इज़ कंसर्न्ड, एक बारी मुझे डेंड्रफ हो गया कॉलेज टाइम में, कहीं से आया एंड देन समबडी सेड कि दही से धो सब साफ हो जाएगा. तो मैं दही फ्रेश लेके आया. उन्होंने कहा फ्रेश थोड़ा ना होती है, सड़ाना होता है इसे. तो उसे सड़ा लिया एंड आफ्टर देन आफ्टर 2-3 days कीपिंग इट आउटसाइड एंड देन आफ्टर आई यूज्ड इट, डेंड्रफ का तो पता नहीं, पर 4 दिन तक वो स्मेल नहीं गई और was a horrible experience for me. So now
but one thing you can be sure, doing all this is not going to harm you. उतना तो guarantee दे सकता हूँ.
Wonderful, sir. So now, looking at the paucity of the time, I think this is going to be my last question. आपने जो अपना last statement छोड़ा था, वहाँ पे आपने वो पता नहीं क्यों मुझे इतनी अच्छी लाइन लगी है, #KnowYourMilk. So just उसको थोड़ा सा और बता दीजिए, and how you are enrolling youth with that. I think that is very important for us.
So that's why I've shaved my head, because I don't want to use. Never. I've got inspired by the monks who are sitting there. Neither वाल होंगे ना कोई headache होगी. So anyway, coming back, I think I'll pick up from where she left and tell you about Know Your Milk. Over the years, as technology has become more and more accessible to people, you're all the time hooked on to your whatever devices you have, right? I mean, it was very funny. His Grace Gaurang Prabhu, who I work with, he is Sundar Pichai. They are both same batchmates from IIT and also they met at the Ambani wedding. So they were joking. So Sundar Pichai asked him, "Arey yaar, Anand, you look very young still. How come?" He says, "I sell peace, you sell stress." That is why I am very peaceful. So Google has pushed so much of information to us that sometimes it is mind-boggling. You don't even know what is worth, what is garbage, and what is true. So what I thought was that if we can marry today when everyone is crazy about technology, and like you rightly said, you need to know where the source is. The idea came to me when I was living in Singapore. There was a survey done in primary schools where kids were asked, where does water come from? Simple question, where does water come from? 9 out of 10 kids said 7-Eleven. And after 6 days, there was an article which said, now you need to worry about food wastage, because if your child thinks that food is coming from 7-Eleven, he will pick it up and dump it into the garbage. Because for him it's just a value. He has no emotional connect to that product. Same thing, we were invited by a government of Israel a few years back. We were in Israel. Cows there give 86 to 90 liters of milk per day. That's the kind of this thing, and they are trying to reach 100 liters. And Gaurang Prabhu was there, and he's like, great. And what happens after? He said, nothing. Meat. It's a perfect 360 this thing for us. So he said, okay, fine. So he was really disturbed for a few days. When we came back, we kind of realized, I said, okay, we need to marry technology, and we need to marry and make the kids understand that this is also your mother. So for the first thing what we did is, now we can claim we are one of the first in the world in the dairy industry that has taken information about the source to the consumer direct by using IoT technologies. We have taken Israeli technologies. We were there in dairy industry for ages and ages, but that information is made accessible to the user. So today you know that what is the health of the cows, which are the cows the milk is coming from, what kind of health rate are they, what kind of vaccinations have we taken, so that at least the source can get married to the customer, not because of the milk. I am not a milk is an aggregation, right? I am not selling milk. I am selling you where the source is coming from. Look after the mother and she will look after you. That's it. So that is what we've done, and we've started involving kids in this campaign. We've got a very nice cow made, and we ask kids to come and milk it. It is at Nature's Basket. Yesterday, actually, the Sri Lankan High Commissioner, the Consul General was there, and he told me another very interesting thing. He said, when I was living in Denmark as the ambassador, he is actually Indian origin, but moved to Sri Lanka like ages ago. He loves milk. So he said, we were talking about spices and all that, and finally it came to milk. That, as kids, we used to drink 2 glasses a day. So he says, I asked my colleagues' kids, where does your milk come from? And the answer was same. 7-Eleven. So until and unless you know where your products are coming from, you will never have respect, you will never have emotional connect, and for you it's just something which for a discussion. Once you start knowing that, you will start feeling connected. And that is what we've done, and that is how we are connecting the youth to it. Thank you.
We are just at the fag end, and just as some closing points which I've learned from my panel members. So I have few questions, not many. For example, all those, who are into plant-based products, my first question is, why do you use dairy term if dairy is so bad? Dairy has created its own kind of image in the sense that, and that again, image is a wrong word, it's a marketing word. Dairy is a part of life, ये हमें है. आज हमें ये एक ओथ लेनी है as student, as practitioner. जिस दूध ने हमें प्राण दिए हैं, उस दूध को हमें प्राण देने हैं, मर के नहीं. वो लोग जो इसे मारने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं, उनको मार के. मारने का मतलब उनकी वो जो अज्ञान है उसको ख़त्म करके. यहाँ पे कोई हम लड़ाई झगड़ा करने नहीं आए हैं. अहिंसा. सेकंड मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग, इट इज़ नॉट अबाउट दिस और दैट. दूध छोड़ दो, ये शुरू कर दो, नहीं. दिस इज ऑल अबाउट दिस एंड दैट. मिल्क एंड प्लांट बेस्ड बोथ हैव टू को एग्जिस्ट. There is ample of room. 8 बिलियन लोग हैं. और सुबह सोडी साहब कह रहे थे कि पैदा करने को कोई तैयार नहीं है, यंग जनरेशन बिल्कुल एग्रीकल्चर में इंटरेस्ट नहीं रखती. इट मीन्स कोई बड़ी बात नहीं है, अगर यही स्थिति रही तो हम वीड्स भी खाएंगे एक दिन. मैं नहीं जानता, वो भगवान ना करे वो दिन आए, बट द वे वी आर प्रोग्रेसिंग इट विल हैपन लाइक दिस. बट थैंक्स टू यंग पीपल लाइक यू who are working in agri-tech and making things happen in a big way. So it is not about this or that, this is about this and that. Both the products have to coexist and they have to pass that matrix. What is that matrix? That matrix of it should be healthy, it should be tasty, it should be affordable. So कल को उनको स्केल से affordability मिलती है, it's perfectly fine. And last but not the least, there has to be a balanced diet. ये जो balanced diet हम डेयरी में सीखते हैं, it is applicable to us also. Everything is bad if it is not being taken up in moderation. I think moderation is the mantra. With food and with moderation of that particular food, अभी आजकल एक WhatsApp बहुत अच्छा चल रहा है, which is always saying that eat 80% of what your hunger says. I think it's all about moderation. Taking anything beyond a certain limit, I think it is going to impact negatively. With this, thank you very much for giving me this opportunity, sir, and thanks to the panel members who have really made it very lively. Thank you.
Thank you, Kuldeep sir.